Hey guys, Cece back with another video, and today's video, as you can see from this craziness, is going to be my eyeshadow palette declutter. So I've done a count. I have 61 eyeshadow palettes, 61, and we're gonna sit here and we're gonna go through all of them and we're gonna declutter. So this may be a lengthy video. If it is, I mean, I'm sorry. This is going to be a lengthy video and I might split it up in two parts. I might not. You guys just may have to sit here and endure this. So I hope you enjoy eyeshadow palette declutters. This was your idea. I got so many requests to do the eyeshadow palettes next. I was not ready, but I said, you know what? They want to see it, so I'm going to do it. So again, 61 sitting here, and we're going to go through all of them. We're going to maybe do some swatches, I don't know. And we're going to declutter this collection. I will be selling some of these eyeshadow palettes, so if you guys are interested in any of the ones I declutter, you can just let me know, email me, and we'll talk about it. Just email me. My email is always in the description box. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to thumbs up this video and also comment down below what video you want to see next. And without further ado, let's get into these eyeshadow palettes. I don't even know where to start at this point. Let's start with this Wet n Wild baby here. This is the Wet n Wild Studio eyeshadow palette in Coming In Latte. I bought this probably end of 2015, beginning of 2016, and I just did not like it. The eyeshadows were just a bit patchy for me, not in true Wet n Wild form, because you guys know I love Wet n Wild eyeshadows and they're usually really good. These just were not as pigmented as I'd hoped, or they were a little patchy. So I used this one time, just didn't like it, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one. Next, I have this Melt Stack. This is the Rust Stack that I actually just got, and it has the most beautiful shades in it. I just bought this around Black Friday time, so I will not be decluttering this. It's just a great neutral eyeshadow palette, and I really love it, so I'm keeping that one. All right, let's talk about some definite keepers. We're definitely keeping this Huda Beauty palette. I've done a tutorial with this. I love this palette. It's amazing. I'm also definitely keeping all of my Morphe palettes, so I might as well make some room on the table now. I have this Morphe 25B palette. This is one of their newer ones. I have the 25A palette, another one of their newer ones. I have the 35OS palette, and I just love this palette, so I'm keeping it. And I'm also keeping the 35O and then the 35F. Alright, so here's one that I can get rid of. I never ever use this little baby right here. This is the Smashbox Full Exposure Mini Palette. It was a very pretty palette. I just never ever use it. I wasn't really in love with the colors that they included in this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. I have some more keepers here. You guys, I don't know how successful I'm gonna be with this declutter, okay, because I'm just like, I don't want to get rid of nothing. But I have some more keepers here. I have 3 palettes by Juvia's Place. The first one is the Masquerade palette, which is that gorgeous baby right there. Then I have the Nubian 2 palette, which I'm definitely keeping. How gorgeous are those colors, you guys? And then the last Juvia's is the Saharan palette, which I actually just hauled for you guys, and I am going to try to get a tutorial up with that very soon. And then I'm keeping also this Violet Voss palette. This is the Violet Voss and Laura Lee palette. There's an earring stuck in here. I have no idea how that happened, but we're going to take that out, and I am keeping that palette. A palette that I know I can get rid of is this CoverGirl True Naked Roses palette. I just wasn't a big fan. I felt like the pigmentation wasn't there. The concept was really nice because the rosy tones are really pretty, but I just felt like the pigmentation was not there the way I wanted it to be, so I never used that, and I'm going to get rid of that. Another palette that I want to go ahead and pitch is the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty palette. This one, I just don't use it. I thought I would for sure love this palette and it would be a staple, but honestly, I don't know. The colors just are not as flattering on me as I would hope, so I'm getting rid of this one. And that one's almost brand new, by the way. And so is this one here. I bought this one around Black Friday time, but I just never use it. I've never used this palette. I don't think it still has the plastic here. This is the Tarte, what is this called? Neutral Eyes Volume 3 palette, And again, I just don't use it at all. It's brand new. I just don't feel like the colors are that flattering. Tarte eyeshadows are amazing though, so you'll love the quality if you have this. It's just, I don't know. I just don't really love the color, so I'm gonna go ahead and pitch that. Let's do some keepers. I am keeping all of my Too Faced chocolate bar palettes except for the semi-sweet palette. I just was not a huge fan of the semi-sweet palette, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one. I used it a few times. It just, I don't know. I just really couldn't get down with this palette. So this one is gonna go, but I am keeping the original chocolate bar palette. I am keeping the newly purchased Sweet Peach palette, which is that one right there. And I'm also keeping the Chocolate Bonbons palette, which is that one. Another keeper is this Makeup Revolution. This is the Ultra Contour Light and Shade palette. I recently purchased this and I will be getting a tutorial out with it. So I'm definitely keeping that. I have not even tried that yet. Oh, here's another one I can get rid of. This is the Lorac Nude Essentials palette. This was, or I'm sorry, Nude Necessities palette. This palette is just so basic, and I don't even know why I purchased it, to be quite honest with you, but it's just so basic. It's way too basic for me, so I don't even know if I've ever used this palette, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one also. This is the MAC Burgundy ×9 palette. I am keeping this little baby. This guy is great for fall. I just really love this palette. I love the colors in it, the burgundy tones in it, and it's just perfect for holiday season. So that one is a keeper. Another keeper I have is the Lorac Unzipped Gold. This is a really nice neutrals gold bronzy palette. I mean, the tones in it are just so pretty. Lorac's eyeshadows are really, really gorgeous. Also, they blend well. They're super soft. So I am keeping that. Whew, you guys, this is so much stuff. Also keeping the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Quads. This one is in Rust, which is my favorite one. I use this all the time for like little everyday looks. And then I'm also keeping the other one in Plum. I don't use this as much, but I can't get rid of this. How cute is this? I cannot get rid of that. What I can get rid of is this Lorac palette. This one is the Croc palette. I've had this for so long. I got it off Haute Look years ago, and I used it a bunch actually, and I felt like the shadows just never made a dent. But I would use this a lot for work and everyday looks, but I have so many other palettes I feel like with these colors, so I can go ahead and get rid of them. And the same is true for this little Lorac Unzipped quad here. This has some of the same colors in the Unzipped Gold palette that I just showed you, and I mean, it's just not worth keeping because I have these shades in like every other palette, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of those. Another one that I can get rid of is this Morphe 12S palette. I think this was the 12 Summer palette, and it was just a nice, I mean, it's a cute palette. Morphe shadows are amazing, but there were no matte shades in here, so I couldn't do a full look with this. And any palette that I can't really do a full look, I'm really not a fan of. So I never really touched this at all. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my declutter pile. Ooh, here's another Haute Look purchase. This is the Stila Not So Nude palette, and this had like a lip and cheek shade in it, the Kitten All Over Shimmer, which is actually a really great color, and then 6 eye shades. This was a nice little palette. I liked it. I just never really used it, and it's super old, so this is one that I can go ahead and get rid of. Oh, here's one. The Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I don't even know why I bought this palette. I don't feel like there is anything that great or special about this palette. These are not colors that I would normally wear. Maybe that's why I bought it, trying to think out the box. But these are just not colors that I would normally wear, and I haven't touched this palette, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one. All right, y'all, we working over here. Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. I just did a Shop My Stash with this and gave it a less than stellar review. I just got uninspired when I used it. Like, it just didn't inspire me to do anything creative. So, you know what? I'm gonna keep it for just a little while longer, but I'm gonna keep it for just a little while longer. I don't even know why. I just don't have the heart to get rid of it right now. let's just run through some more keepers. The Master Palette by Mario. That one is definitely a keeper. I really loved this collab by Anastasia Beverly Hills. She does some really great collabs, so I really loved this one. The colors were amazing. They were neutral, but they were great. So I'm keeping that. I'm also, of course, keeping my Modern Renaissance palette. I just did a Valentine's Day tutorial with this, and this was like her best palette to date. So I love that one. And I'm also keeping the Anastasia Self-Made palette. This was also a really good palette. This is where I discovered my favorite lid shade, and that's this busted shade right over here, which is pink champagne. I love that shade. So it's so pretty, and I'm keeping that. Here's one that I can get rid of. This one is super old. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lavish palette. Almost one of her first palettes. I think this was like the second or the third one maybe. And I mean, I liked it and I used it every now and then, but I don't know. I think it was just the sleeve that irritated me. You have to like take it out of the sleeve, and then it doesn't have a cover, and I don't know. I think it was just the sleeve, but I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this palette here. I really like the palette. The quality was there. I just don't use it as much as I should, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. Ooh, I'm on the fence about this one. Urban Decay Naked Basics. Should we keep this, you guys? What do you think? I used it a lot. I mean, it is super basic. It's really great to take if you have a bunch of shimmery shades, and then you can kind of create full looks with this, because if you have that shimmery shade, you have like some transition shades. There's no warm shades in here though, which is I think what I don't like. This is more of a cool tone palette. All right, I just made up my own mind. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one. All right, so I haven't used this one much, but I'm gonna keep it because it's actually kind of new. This is the Perfect Me Perfect Hue palette by Stila, and it actually has some blushes, some eyeshadow shades in it, so a really nice well-rounded palette. The shades are really pretty as well, and they're pigmented. I just haven't gotten around to using it, so I'm gonna definitely try to pick this up more, especially this blush shade right here. That is just so beautiful. So I'm gonna try to pick this palette up more and give it some more love. Two keepers are two more Morphe palettes. This one is the Awesome Blossom palette, and these are so gorgeous, and they're so little and travel friendly and just really cute. So this one's in Awesome Blossom, and then this one is in Copper Popper, and this one's my favorite, and I use it so much. Morphe's shadows are like pressed pigments. They're just so amazing and gorgeous, and I just love them. So I can't get rid of this one. This is the Ulta. This doesn't even have a name on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. I think I got it as a free gift. I've never even tried the palette, but I'm probably not going to use it, so I can get rid of that one. Two more palettes that I can get rid of. The first one is the Balm Nude Tude palette. I got this palette a long time ago, and I did like it when I got it, but as more and more great palettes came out, I felt like this one was just overshadowed. The shadows weren't as great as I thought they were, I think. Especially, I was new to makeup, so who knows? I probably thought it was the greatest thing walking, and it just isn't now. So I'm going to get rid of that one, and then I'm also going to get rid of this Makeup Revolution palette. This is the Redemption palette, and I've just never used it, and I have other Makeup Revolution palettes that I really like, so I can get rid of this one. Ooh, this one's gonna hurt, but I know one of them has to go. I am keeping the original Lorac Pro palette. This palette is just everything. I have used it. It's beat up. It looks a mess, but I will never get rid of this palette because it is that awesome. Now, number 3, on the other hand, I barely used it, barely touched it, and it's not that the shadows aren't great, because they are, but I just really was not feeling this palette. This terracotta shade I did really like. That one, but other than that, I wasn't a big fan of this one, so I can get rid of this Lorac Pro 3 palette. And the 2 was kind of like right in the middle for me. I don't know, what do you guys think? It was like right in the middle for me. It's like I don't know if I want to keep it, but I think I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of it. I just wouldn't use it. I know I'm going to regret this, but I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. two more that I am on the fence about, the Tartelette and the Tartelette in Bloom. The Tartelette palette I loved when it first came out. I used it so much, and it's still such a beautiful palette with like the purples and the rosy tones. Oh, I just feel like I have these shades though. I really do. I feel like I have these shades. I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm also gonna keep the Tartelette in Bloom for now, and then if I don't use it by the time my next declutter comes around, I'll go ahead and get rid of it. But both of these palettes are beautiful. The quality is there, and I just love them. Then of course I had to get the Tartelette Tease palette, which is just like the little mini Tartelette palette. It just had 6 little mini baby shades in it. This one's really great for travel, and I actually do use this one, so I'm gonna keep it. This is probably why I don't use the big ones. All right, y'all, we are down to the last few. I know I'm gonna get rid of a few of these, so let's just go through them. The Coastal Scents Revealed palette, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. I never ever use it. This was a great palette. It was a nice little dupe for the Naked palettes back in the day, but I just don't use them, so I'm going to let that one go. Along with this Urban Decay vegan palette, I got this from Nordstrom Rack years ago, and I used it somewhat but not very often, so I can let that go. I'm also going to let go of these 3. The first one is the Natural Eyes palette. This came in like a set at Ulta, and it was when I first started doing makeup, and I've just kind of kept it because I like the colors in here, but I never ever used it, so I'm going to get rid of that. Along with the Anastasia Beverly Hills, this was the Catwalk palette, I think. It doesn't even have the name on here. I think this was the Catwalk palette. I'm gonna get rid of that one too. I barely used this one, and this just wasn't like her best work in my opinion. So I'm getting rid of that one. Along with this Lorac palette, which I never knew the name of. It came from Haute Look, but I don't even know what I was supposed to do with these colors. These aren't even, I can't even work with these colors. So this is gone. You guys, I have such nostalgia with this palette. This was my first high-end makeup palette, and it's a cute little Bobbi Brown palette. I paid like 55 bucks for this palette, and I used the mess out of it, if you can't tell. I just absolutely love this palette. It was such a good palette, good quality. This was before I knew anything about makeup, and I just picked this up. I was like, you know, let's try it, and I literally use this like every single day. So this palette has to be like 6 or 7 years old, maybe older. I think it's older than that. Oh, you guys, I'm just gonna keep it for nostalgia's sake. I'm gonna keep this palette. I don't know why I'm keeping it, because I never ever used it, but I'm gonna keep it. These bring back memories too. The 26 color palette. Remember these from BH Cosmetics? Oh my gosh. This is the neutral eyeshadow and blush palette. Look at that. Really great neutral colors. I used to think these shadows were the bomb. I tried to use them like a couple months ago, and I was like, oh my god, these shadows really weren't that great. So I'm gonna get rid of all of my BH palettes. This is another one. This is the 88 color palette, the standard matte palette. Y'all remember when everybody had these palettes? Like everybody had these palettes. And it just came with so many colors. It provided you with so many options, and BH was cheap, but I just never used these, and I won't. So I'm gonna get rid of that, as well as this. This is the Book of Shadows. I think it's like volume 4. And that's how it looked. The reason I never used this was because the packaging was so complicated and bulky, and it was too much. This was just doing way too much. But these were the shadows. These weren't probably my cup of tea anyway, but I think I got it on like sale at Haute Look or something, on Haute Look or something. If you guys don't know what Haute Look is, check out my description box, and you'll just click on the link and you'll see. It's a flash sale site. But I think that's where I got this from, and I got it for cheap, so I bought it. But y'all know these ain't my colors. I saved these 3 for last. I can't get rid of the Naked palettes, especially not these two. I didn't get as attached to this Naked Smoky. I just got this one. I got it last year sometime, and I didn't get that attached to it. I did a couple looks with it, and I like it, so I'm gonna keep that. However, These two, I can't get rid of these. This is the original Naked palette. Look, it's falling apart. Y'all see that? It's falling apart and everything. But this started the whole makeup palette trend. So I use this palette to death. I love this palette. So I'm not getting rid of that, nor the Naked 2. I'm keeping that as well. I never got around to getting the Naked 3, but for the Naked 1 and 2, these were like my babies. And the Naked 2, I liked even more than the Naked 1. So I gotta keep those. Alright, you guys, so I think we got rid of quite a bit. I am so happy with myself. Let's see. Alright, so what did we say we started with? 61. We have here 27 palettes that we are getting rid of. I did pretty darn good. Let's see. 61. I need the calculator for this, y'all. It's late and I can't think. So 61 minus 27 leaves us with 34 palettes. That is amazing. I was able to get rid of, again, almost half of my collection, and it'll go to somebody and it'll have a better home. It'll be used, and if I'm not using it, there's no need to hold on to it. I'm kind of at that point in my life where I feel like I don't just have to hold on to everything just to hold on to it. Like, if I'm not using it, let it go. So got rid of 27. I think that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting this series. If you like this series, let me know what you want to see down below. Also, don't forget, if you're interested in any of these products, I will have my email address down below where you can email me about any of them. And that's it. Don't forget to comment, rate, and also subscribe to my channel. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye, guys.